How a hungry Mia Goth revamped the horror final girl in Maxxxine. Mia Goth has not yet put her body part in wet cement at the Tsul Chinese Theatre in Hollywood, a place her starlet in the 1980s set meta-slasher movie Maxxxine would kill to be included. What Goth is an old pro and is weathering boot being put on her head to make a live cast. She's had it done for a few movies, including one rather stressful session for Marvel's upcoming Blade. I remember being very tired and a little hungry. I went in, and we did the cast, and I actually had to rip it off, because I needed to take a breather and have a cup of tea. Goth says of the incident, which ended up being good practice for a similar scene in Maxxxine, in theaters now. Being covered in gunk is honestly one of Maxine Minx's lesser worries in director Ty West's ambitious, blood-soaked horror trilogy. In 2022's X, Maxine is the lone survivor of a porn film crew after a 1979 massacre perpetrated by an elderly Texas couple, including vicious wife Pearl, also played by Goth. The actress played a younger version of her as a murderous, fame-starved farm girl, circa 1918, in the prequel Pearl. Maxxxine catches up with Maxine in 1985 as the now successful adult film star has the chance to break mainstream in Hollywood when she's cast in a high-profile horror sequel. Unfortunately, she's also targeted by a mystery killer at the same time the Night Stalker haunts the streets of La. Need a break? Play the USA Today Daily Crossword Puzzle. From first filming X to now headlining Maxxxine, Goth's own star has grown, even going viral on TikTok. And the 30-year-old actress sees parallels between herself and the equally determined Maxine. We knew what we wanted, and we were going after it, adds West. She was very much ready to prove herself that she could carry a movie. West tackles a bunch of themes over the course of his trilogy, from stardom and celebrity to the moral majority and satanic panic of the 80s. But he also wanted to explore how characters are affected by different eras of cinema for a movie-loving audience, even those who aren't horror fans. With X, which sported a tone akin to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, West wanted to show the entrepreneurial nature of trying to make a tiny movie outside of the system and carve your own niche, he says. Then Pearl, a Technicolor nightmare influenced by The Wizard of Oz and old Disney films, centered on someone who's unhappy with their state in life and looks to the glitz and glamour of the movies as the grass is greener. If I had a life like that, it would be better. And with Maxxxine, inspired by the gritty, sleazy likes of Vice Squad and Angel, the 43-year-old filmmaker set out to recapture his own experiences of going to an 80s video store. There's this endless amount of movies that look salacious and subversive and interesting. In the trilogy, Goth portrays two very different characters. Pearl, the jealous woman with a violent backstory, and Maxine, the preacher's daughter, who lives by the mantra, "I will not accept a life I do not deserve." She's got a chip on her shoulder. She's hungry to prove herself to the world, and even more importantly to herself, Goth says of Maxine. And with her in particular, West wanted to reinvent a well-tread trope. A big part of it was to try to have the final girl not act like one. In X, Maxine escapes and gruesomely runs over Pearl's head at the end, and in Maxxxine, she's not to be trifled with either, pulling a gun on a creepy dude in Buster Keaton cosplay and driving her heel into a rather sensitive spot on his body. She's fully aware that she has little to no control over people around her and the situations that might take place around her, but she is in full command of her decisions and her actions, and she has the fearlessness and the courage to act on those, Goth says. It's fun to be the one that's holding the gun, taking matters into her own hands.